Hi, children. It's Grandma Carla with Chapter 10 of The Chicken Pox Panic. It was 3 days before Sean's party. Little Jimmy was sick in bed with chicken pox. Itchy spots were in his nose and in his hair. They were nearly everywhere. Dee Dee Winters had them too, and Jason Birchall missed school. Abby was worried. Who's next? 2 days before the party, Eric and Duncan broke out with the chicken pox. After supper, Sean did too. Rats, Abby said to her mother. Now we can't have the party. But you can still bake a cake, her mother said. Sean would like that. The next day, Abby hurried to the kitchen. She got out mixing bowls, eggs, and flour, baking powder, sugar, chocolate squares, and canned frosting. She posted the pattern of South Korea on the refrigerator with a clown magnet. Next, she tiptoed to the boys' room. They were sound asleep. Good. Back in the kitchen, she followed her mother's recipe. And when she measured the flour and the sugar, some of it flew into the floor. And then she mixed the batter. Some of it spilled too. What a mess. At last, she slid the cake pans into the oven and waited. When the timer rang, Abby used the hot pads. The oven was very hot, and so were the cake pans, and she placed them on the counter to cool. Then Abby heard footsteps. She turned around, and there was Jimmy, making flour footprints on the floor. Snow White was behind him, licking up spilled sugar. Abby stared at her little brother. "What are you doing up?" "Thirsty," Jimmy moaned. Abby poured a glass of water. "Here," she said, holding the glass out to him. "Now go back to bed." "Not tired," he said, scratching his spots. "Don't scratch," Abby said. "It'll make marks." He walked to the refrigerator, tracking flour everywhere. Reaching for the map of South Korea, Jimmy slipped and fell. "Ouch!" he cried. Abby helped him back to bed. Sean was still asleep. "Whew! Close call. Gotta hurry," thought Abby, tiptoeing back to the kitchen. She turned the first cake pan upside down. It was so hot it burned her fingers. The cake came out a crumbly mess on the plate. "Oh no, what's wrong?" she thought. Then she remembered Stacy, the fixer-upper. Abby called her best friend on the phone, and she came right over. "I want it to look like South Korea," Abby said, pointing to the map. "Sean's birthday is tomorrow." Stacy grabbed the drawing off the fridge. "So this is the secret you were keeping from me." "Please help me, Stacy," Abby whispered. "I'll never keep secrets from you again, I promise." Stacy smiled. "It's a deal. Now, first of all, the pans have to cool before you dump out the cake," she explained. "But I think I can fix your mess." Abby watched as Stacy worked. Bit by bit, she pieced the cake together with canned frosting. But the cake had ugly bumps and ridges in it. It looked more like the Grand Canyon than South Korea. Soon, the second cake pan was cool enough, and Stacy turned it over, but the cake was stuck. Stacy groaned. "Why didn't you butter and flour the pan first?" "I thought I did." Stacy tried one more time to get the cake out of the pan, but it fell out in pieces. Abby looked at the cake in horror. "Oh, no," she cried. "Oh, forget it. Just get me a streamer," Stacy said. "What for?" "To hold the cake together," Stacy said. Abby had never heard of such a thing. Did Stacy really know what she was doing? Abby ran to her room to get the red streamers. There was no time to waste. Let's look at the pictures from this one. Here is little Jimmy, and he was the youngest of her brothers, and he was slipping in the mess that was on the floor. There was cake batter on the floor that Abby had been messy, and he slipped. And that is all of Chapter 10, and I think we only have one more chapter left of the Chicken Pox Panic. And this is Grandma Carla, and I love you.